Welcome to the next section in the line series. You're going to learn to put text on a path. First, you'll create a line, any shape you like, and then type your text. When you're finished, the line will disappear, leaving only the text as the line. Let's start off with a blank piece of paper. It's easier to see all the details when you have a white background. After that, you want to go to your text tool right here, and you want to choose the type or text on a path, which has a curved line under the letter T. Let's choose the default colors black and white, and make sure this button, Draw, is selected. I don't know that I'll need such large point. Let's try 72. I'm not sure what's going to happen because I can't even remember what size the paper I created was. Once you have Draw, it looks like you have a pen here with a curved line coming out of it. Create a line, click the green check, and you've completed step 1. The next step is to put some text on there. You have to put your cursor over the line you just created until your cursor turns into an I bar with a curved line. Then click on the path. Now you've got your blinking cursor and an X showing where the text is going to start. Notice I'm using left justified text. I think that's easiest for you to start with. And then I'm putting down my stylus and using both hands to type. And when it gets to the end, you'll see your text disappear. So you might have to backspace, or if you want, just keep on typing and click the green check. I typed some additional letters here that aren't showing, so I want to modify the path so I can see all the text I typed. Go back to your text tool, and this time click the Modify button. And you'll notice your path has a lot of little points on them, or squares. Those are called nodes. Let me zoom in so we can see what's going on. Back to my text on a path tool, this one here, Modify, and then I can put my cursor on these nodes and drag them. Now you'll notice they also have little handles on them, and if you click on the end of those, you can change the shape of the curve. It takes a little practice to get used to this, to using those nodes. And you might find that it's easier to just start a new path. For example, this one I'm having a real problem getting those handles to work. Zoom out. You can also correct your spelling or anything else you want to do. For me, it's easier to double-click on the T to select all the text on a path, and then if you want to change the font, select the type you want to change. And as with normal text, you have all these options. Italics, you can underline it if you like. You can change the orientation of your text, the size, whatever you like. And when you're finished, click the green check and you've got text on a path. Now this line will disappear as soon as I'm off of that text layer. Once your line disappears, to modify the path or the text again, I find the easiest way is to double click on the T in your layers panel. Then make sure you're on the text path tool Now notice it just changed to the Move tool. I don't know why it does that, but my path is now showing again, and I can go back to my text on a path tool and click Modify, and now I can change, look for those nodes and change them. It's sort of an awkward way to get to that point where you can modify your text path again, but it works. It might be easier to start from scratch. It's up to you. You can also delete these nodes or add nodes if you like. To delete a node, press the Alt key and notice the pen cursor has a minus next to it. If you click on a node, it disappears. Alt click, and that one's gone. And then your text reforms. If you need to add a node, you would press Shift and click on the line, and then you can get a new node. Plus the green check if you want to modify it again. Like I said, this takes a little practice, and for me it's often easier to start a new path from scratch. If you like what you've done, click the green check and you're ready to go on. If you want to do an elaborate drawing with text on a path, I suggest you do short paths. So if I wanted to add another path, I would probably add one here, click the green check, add some more text, and as soon as I click on the line, the X appears and I can start typing again. I can select all the text if I want and change the size. And you notice I had some more text here, so I would have to change that size too. Click the green check. Back to my type tool. Now if you want to start your text somewhere different on the path, or if you want to center your text, you can click the green check box first. Click with your icon to start writing. Centered text starts halfway between the point that you clicked and the end. So if I start typing, I would get something like that. If I have just those words, notice how it's centered over that midway point. Let's cancel that. So if I started here and centered the text, it would be halfway along the path. It's not the center point of the whole path. It's centered between the point where I started typing and the end point. The shortcut for hitting the green check is to press Ctrl Enter. And then you can move that text around and rotate it. And you can create complete drawings with this text if you like. Here are a couple ideas I found in magazines. Let me zoom in. And you can see all the paths. So this would be a path, this would be a path. This might be one path and this another. This might be one path and this another. Here's another one where they just use text on a path over a photograph to create some lines of text that look like strands of hair. Again, there's lots of smaller paths to create this text. Let's walk through the steps again. This time I've opened an image, one of my photographs, and I want to add the text on a path to this photograph. First thing I'm going to do is make sure I get my type tool and have text on a path selected, the one with the curvy line under it. I want to click on Draw, and this time I've changed my point size to a much larger font because I've experimented, and if I had it at 72 you could hardly read it. Draw your path. If you're happy, click the green check. If you're not, click the red circle. Let's try again. I like that one, so I'm happy. And now I'm going to move my cursor over the line until it turns into that sort of eye shape, and then click, and that's where I can start typing. Notice I've got the blinking cursor, and you can just barely see there's an X right next to the cursor. I'm putting down my wand now, my stylus, and I'm starting to type. You can also paste text from another document. I happen to have the web page that has the official name, which I can highlight, Ctrl C to copy, go back to Photoshop, Ctrl V to paste, and it's sometimes a little easier to do it that way. When you're happy, click the green check, and you can move the text around. Notice right here I've got a couple of bumps. A lot of times if you have fewer nodes, the line will be smoother. So let's go back to the text on a path tool and choose Modify. Now we can see all the little square nodes. Let me zoom in and see if I can see this a little better. Back to the text tool, back to Modify. And I'm going to hold the Alt key. For Mac, that would be the Option key, and click on that node, and it'll disappear. Click on this node. Maybe click on this one. And sometimes you'll get really goofy things happening, like a letter will turn upside down. It has to do with the angle of those handles when we click on a node. So if you delete a node or add a node, you might have trouble, but just try deleting another node or use the undo tool. I'm going to use the space bar to move over and see if there's anything else I want to do. Sometimes you might need to put a little extra space in your text when you have a concave path. So I can go back down to Draw. Notice my cursor turned to the eye. Click and add another space if I wanted to. Especially right here between the 1 and 7, that's really goofy. Or modify the path. Let's see if I hold down the Alt key, the Option key, and get rid of that. That straightened it up a little bit. Double click the hand tool. Select the Move tool if I want to move it around. And remember, the underline under the path is just temporary. As soon as you click on another layer, that path line disappears. To actually see the path again, you have to go through a couple of steps. This is the way that works best for me. Click back on to the text layer. Double click the text layer icon, that T. Click the green check. Click the Type tool and the Text on a Path tool. If you want to draw, click Draw. If you want to modify the line, click Modify. So if I wanted to do some more typing in here, I would just click Draw and then wait until that pen turned into the cursor, the I-beam. Click and wait for the flashing icon, and then I can add more stuff in there. or not. When you're finished, click the check. And again, you can move it around. You can rotate it just like you've done before. You can enlarge it, rotate. It's just another layer. Click the green check. If adding text to your design is something you'd like to work with, give Text on a Path a try. If you'd like to learn more about designing with Photoshop Elements, consider taking a class with us. Visit pixelladies.com/classes for more information.